Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is tzcuaro. This is live on Kickstarter, and actually this is the name of a Mexican city, and it's about a festival for celebrating memories of loved ones. And so this is a pretty straightforward set collection game where we are going to be effectively having a little bit of a rondel, or we're going to have an action selection loop going on here, and we're going to use that to make our altar. And so the altar is made out of these cards, which have a color or a suit, and then a number of objects on them, like a bread or a skull or candy, flowers. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to have a hand of these, 2, 4, 6, and as we move around, we'll be able to place them. As we place them, I'll just do this facing the camera, but you're basically going to build, let me think about how to do it. You're going to be building a tower of them with 4 at the bottom and then 4, 3, 2. So the moment a player creates a 4, 3, 2 build pyramid from the bottom up, you end the game, and then anyone who didn't end the game gets to place one more, and that's it. And so it's going to be all about building the altar and then scoring. So the scoring's pretty straightforward. On your bottom row, you get to pick 3 objects, or your best, the most numerous 3 objects, and you get a point for every one of it. So in my bottom row, I've got 4 skulls. And that's the most. I'll get a point for each skull, and then maybe 3 pieces of bread, and then 4 photographs, and that would be the points there. The second row, you get to pick 2 objects, 2 points each, and then the last row, you get to pick 1 object worth 3 points. And again, you want to have, some of these cards. For example, this card has 3 photos on it, so it was in my top row, I would go for photos. So you're sort of trying to get the right balance of those cards. Beyond that scoring, there's basically just a few other ways to score, which are these goals that get set up at the end of the game. This one is for each set of objects. You'll get, if I get a top, a candle, and a skull for each of that set I have, I'll get 5 points. The next one will be for every 2 of these red cards, I'll get 7 points, and then for this one, it's sort of if my pyramid matches that. So everyone has a combination of what they're trying to get into their cards and these end of game goal conditions, and that's going to be your total score at the end. You each have a little meeple, and what you're going to be doing is moving 1 to 3 spaces around this board and going in a circle, and you can't stop where somebody else is, and each space gives you a number of actions. The starting space doesn't have cards above and below it, and basically this one will typically let you add to your altar, or on the other side you get to add to your altar twice, but then everyone else gets to add to your altar and draw more of these cards. Most of the other spaces, though, allow you to do some sort of trade where you're trying to get the card in front of the altar because maybe you want a green one or you're collecting frames, and you'll do it based on the little rules around. So sometimes it's like you can trade, but you have to trade something with a skull, or it has to be a different color than what you're trading for, or when you trade, you also get to draw a card and switch out. So just little nuances. These are double-sided. It's iconography that you have to sort of like wrap your head around a little bit. Once you do, it's a pretty straightforward game. It's very pretty. I like the general mechanics. Like building my pyramid's pretty straightforward, and then going through the rondel is also pretty straightforward. And it's sort of it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's a pretty quick game, even with different player counts. I think there are a couple key pieces of feedback, and so this is a Kickstarter, so hopefully they can be addressed, perhaps. One might be a personal preference, the other one not so much. Okay, you probably can't see this on camera, but on these cards, the icons are facing opposite directions, as if we were playing across from each other and it was in the middle of us. And depending on your seating, I'm sure this is something they've talked about a bunch of times, but I'd sort of rather everything being in the same direction. Like even with multiple players, I'd rather the board be out there so it's really easy. There's enough complexity in the icons and arrows in different directions that I find we were literally picking it up every time, and over time I'm sure you get it and it becomes basic. But for me, that was a little frustrating. But I could imagine the entire argument for the way they have it. But the other one is, these are really pretty cards with lots of icons, and icons in different places and very colorful. And then even there's a type, and then along it there's more of those types. me and a number of people who played it did find it very difficult to sort of have a hand of cards and be considering and thinking about what it should look like and know what icons I have and have to trade out, especially since you can't really, to see all the cards, it's like you have to go really wide with your hand. I can understand why the emphasis is on pretty, and I wouldn't want to get rid of that because I like pretty games, but I wonder if there's something simple that could be considered before the end of the Kickstarter that would help. Perhaps simple little black small icons for what's on here on the bottom, or maybe under the little suit, just little small outline icons. Like nothing, you don't want to, I love the way this game looks, but I think this would go a lot faster and be a little bit easier to wrap your head around if you could see it quickly. It does suffer from not analysis paralysis, but just sort of the effort to figure out what you have, what's available, and what's ideal. So that's an opportunity, I think. But overall, I think it all just works and it flows nicely. And so this is tzcuaro, and it's live on Kickstarter. Check it out. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.